Hello everyone. I hope there's some issue with the previous video. So I'm just recording the lab session again. Sorry for the inconvenience happened during the recording session. So this will help you to understand how we are doing the deployment deployment of AWS EC2 instances using a Terraform. Okay. As we already saw that we have seen the Terraform architecture that comprise two components, which makes the complete infrastructure, complete architecture, which is core. Another one is provider. So what is core? Core is actually one component in an architecture which has two input sources. So one is called config, another one is Terraform state. So what is Terraform state here? The Terraform state is nothing but it is the current state of infrastructure or the setup. Meaning, if you run the Terraform plan, it will check your current state. Okay, so it current state of your infrastructure, and also will check your TF configurations. What is TF configuration? That is the input file of a user who creates the infrastructure. So it can be you or it can be anyone else or me. So the TF configuration will be having the Terraform code where we are going to deploy in the provider space where we want to see the infrastructure change. Okay, so let me quickly jump into the AWS console and let me tell you what we're going to do with now. So when you see your EC2 instances, when you want to create a manual EC2 instances, what we basically do, we just launch a EC2 instances and we select any of the AMIs, correct? So it can be Linux, it can be Red Hat, it can be Windows, or it can be any other OS. Okay, so in that operating systems, you have an option here saying that AMI. AMIs is nothing but Amazon Machine Image, which has its unique ID with each individual regions, correct? So to create any EC2 instances, you need this AMI instances. Okay, let me just quickly go to the Terraform providers, so where you can just see what I'm talking about. Okay, so before getting into creating any code, okay, we need to just see what are the models available in Terraform. So as I said before, Terraform is actually a model based approach. So whenever you want to create any resources, everything already available in model based. So you want to group all the models to create an infrastructure. So right now, as a first session, I want to give you how to create a EC2 instances with the basic steps. So it does not have any complex code here, which will have only a couple of lines where it creates the EC2 instances. Okay, so we have chosen AWS Cloud as a cloud provider right now, and we would be creating a AWS EC2 instances right now. So when you just see the documentation here, you just scroll it down, and you find EC2 instances available here. Okay, there are two major components here, which talks of models here, which talks about resources and data sources, which I will definitely cover in the next coming sessions. To make the lab very easy and simple, I'm going to take the EC2 instances model now. Okay, we just want to click the resource option here. Click the resource option here, and you just scroll it little down, and you have an option to create a AWS instances. Correct. So when any if you create any document or any code, you might have a variable define and arguments to be set, right? So these are the arguments which you need to compulsory or mandatorily you need to fill while writing code. Okay, if you just scroll it a little down, it is called an argument reference here, and just if you scroll it up, you can just see the code, actual code, where you have a set of information, set of lines which actually creates your EC2 instances. So already I said before, like, this AWS has an option of two component, which is core, another one is providers. So to begin with, you need to have a provider, option here, and you need to have another set of arguments which you create the AWS instances, correct? And if you just come down of this particular document here, you can just see there are a lot of values here which you want to create the EC2 instances. But you can just see there is one option which says that required, another optional. Meaning, if you want to create the following, if you create any resources, these are the following arguments which are basically needed. But when you say required, it means it is mandatorily. mandatorily should be available when you want to create a code. Okay, here it says that you need an AMI code, which is mandatory, like you need to mention that required. Another one is optional, where you can just see everything is optional here. Okay, so you just scroll a little down and you can just see there's one more option available. It's called required type, which is called instance type, which is also mandatory, and it says it's required. Okay, and everything is saying optional. Okay, so you do not worry about other things. You can just see other things are optional, completely optional. You do not worry about. You can just skip that. Okay, so what we can do is we can go to the EC2 instance and we can create a. We can go to the ID and going to create a EC2 instances now. Okay, so right now I created a simple code here, and this code will explain you one by one, line by line, so you'll easily understand what I'm trying to achieve now. So, okay, let me just close every window. Probably it will not make you confused, and so it gives you a clear idea what I'm going to do now. Okay, so there's one Terraform file called test.tf, which actually says that I want to create one EC2 instances. Okay, what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to give a provider list, which is called AWS, and I'm going to give the region, access key, and secret key. What is all those things? See, you are running this particular command in your local machine or in your any of your management server, but you need to connect to your cloud resources. How do you actually connect? You need credentials, right? This credential you need to pass it in the document, in the code. That's the reason I'm just mentioning as a region, which region I want to create, and what is the credential, what is the access key and secret key. Basically, you want to go to your AWS console, and you can just get that from your IAM, and you might have already heard about the key which you have might several times you might have used, right? So I'll be creating a users here, and I've already used it, so I'm going to take that from my this particular from these users. Okay, which I've already taken it, and you can do the same thing from whenever you want to create your IAM accesses. Okay, so I've already taken it, and that's the reason I'm getting the credentials here. So when you want to create it, you can create it from the IAM, and you can just get that access details. Okay, so I already got that, and I have your access keys and secret keys here. Okay, I kept it here, and I've passed the resource ID called resource, and the resource type is called AWS instance. What type of resource I'm going to create? I'm going to create a AWS EC2 instance, and this is nothing but the name of the EC2 instances, and I'm giving two argument, which is AMI and instant type. If you just go to the document and just give you a hint again, says that AMI is required. Another one is says that instant type is required. These are the two things which you need to do it. Okay, so I've taken a very simple command which you can do it by your own side, and from next session it will be a little more complex, and you'll be having more resources added to this document, so you will get to know what I'm going to do now. Okay, so right now I'm created a document, I have created a code here, and I'm going to execute from the command line. So how to execute it? Go to your command line here. Okay, as I said, whenever you want to create a Terraform apply or plan or init, so you have to follow in a sequence order. Okay, so how to do it? So let me go to the particular folder. Okay, dir, I'm going to the Terraform code. Okay, and CLS, let me clear it, dir, and I have a code called test.tf. Let me just check what is the code here. Okay, so you can just see the code has been mentioned here. And to begin with, I am going to start the Terraform init. What that init actually does, so init actually downloads all your AWS plugins, basically, which needs you to run your AWS resources from your instances or from your local laptop. Okay, the moment you hit the Terraform init, you can just check it'll get loaded and it's initializing, and you can just see there's one more folder started downloading, which is nothing but the folder of AWS, which is actually a plugins on that, which is needed to execute any of your AWS resources. Okay, right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply it. So I'm going to plan it. What plan actually does? So when I go back to the slide, what I have told that when you run a plan, basically it checks your TF state and your TF configurations. TF state is nothing but it says your current setup of your configuration, and it will check with your TF config. What is the TF config? TF config has the VM creation, and its current state has nothing. Okay, so it will check your TF state and your TF config, and it creates your infrastructure. Okay, right now I'm going to enter Terraform plan here. Okay, the moment you enter your Terraform plan, it actually, let me just, okay, let me execute now. Okay, so the moment if you hit the Terraform plan, you can just see there's one more option has been, it says that, okay, and it says plan 1. What is the plan 1? Okay, let's go, let's scroll up and let's see what is listing here. Okay, so it says that AWS instances first EC2 will be created. So if you just see the code, we might have given the name of first EC2 instances. Okay, and we have given the AMI. What it says that the Terraform is actually comparing your local TF state and current state of infrastructure and with your file, and says that you're going to create one EC2 instances, and it will get reflected in your infrastructure. Okay, and another rest of the things it shows a known after apply, meaning it takes a default value. It will take from the default VPCs. Okay, we have not specified anything. If you specify something which you really needed, you can change your code based on that. If you want to create in a different subnet, if you want to create in your own VPC, if you want to add some public IP, if you want to add private IP to your resources, to your EC2 instances, then you can edit your code, and based on that you can do it. Right now we have not done anything. We have just took a very simple example, creating EC2 instances. So it will gonna create a EC2 instances. If you just scroll it little down, and it gives all the values, what are the information which you needed, right? So everything says known after apply, meaning it will create its own default VPC, or from its default VPC, or from its own network. Okay, if you just scroll it little down, it says that plan 1 to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy, meaning it is going to add only one EC2 instances, nothing going to change or destroy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply it now. Okay, the moment if you apply, it will start applying your configurations. It start deploying your infrastructure in your AWS environment. Okay, so I'm going to give a yes now. So it is creating your EC2 instances. Okay, so to check that, you can just go back to your AWS EC2 instances and go to service, which is EC2 instance here, and you can just see a EC2 instance might be creating. Okay, just give a refresh here. Okay, I want to check if it is, if see, we have created a EC2 is in US West 2. Okay, go to that particular region, because you might have seen that it is actually creating in US West 2, correct? If I'm not wrong. Okay, let me just check where I've created. Let me see the region. Okay, more Terraform West. Okay. It is in US West 2. Okay, let's go to the US West 2 region and see if this see it has been created. To confirm whether it has been the same one, you can just check the instance ID. Okay, if you just go back to your execute, see it says 37 AEC. It says 37 AEC, right? So it has been created now. Okay, so now what happened? The moment you apply, your execution got completed in 35 seconds, and says that apply complete. Resource 1 is added, nothing is changed, and nothing is destroyed. So hope you got understood, and you can just go back to your EC2 instances and see it is still running and it's coming up. Okay, so this is how you want to execute your local Terraform. I mean the simple Terraform code from the scratch to create a EC2 instances. Going forward, we'll be having we'll be adding more EC2 instances. We'll be adding more resources to the existing code, and it'll be helpful for your for practice. Do more practice, and it will help for you to understand. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to destroy it. Since it is creating, I'm not going to destroy it. I'm going to just leave it for some time, and I'm going to destroy it later. Okay, so thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, please let me know, and I'm really helpful. I mean, ready to help you in all the means. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.